It's live with Lynn and Sheryl. We are just like having such a good old time because it's Groundhog's Day. We forgot. We forgot. We are just sitting here just talking. So we'll be right back because it's Groundhog's Day. Welcome to the Lynn and Sheryl Show. I'm Lynn and you are my Sheryl.
I'm Sheryl Isenhour. How are you doing, Lynn?
We're doing great. Welcome to Groundhog's Day. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw on the Live, Love, Laugh Out Loud with Lynn page that I posted the little bio of this wonderful lady, Sheryl Isenhour, who is also a Zig Ziglar certified coach. And she is very humble and modest. And I don't talk about her accolades and whatnot all the time. But I am going to, and I'll say it to her face, but I am going to get her bio and I'm going to do a little talk about her when she's not on the show sometime. But I am just so blessed that I actually get the opportunity to talk with her and we get to actually spend this time every Wednesday that she designates. This woman, she wears many hats and she does many things. So on a Groundhog Day, I bet she feels like that the movie the Groundhog's Day, sometimes getting up and starting over, but she does so many different things. So I'm sure it's and they do a crazy thing with the Groundhog's Day at her house and things there. And I'm going to let her explain that. But I just wanted to say that you guys may realize or may not realize that you may want to ask some Zig Ziglar questions or coaching questions here on our show because this is a time slot that she does designate. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, Sheryl, back to you. Sorry, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm kind of groundhog dog. This on Groundhog Day. Chucky is in our coaching business. He's our, I guess, mascot, you would call it, because we try to help people not live the same day over and over again, because that's what happens, especially in, leadership. You get up, the day starts, and it doesn't change. And unless you can do like he did in the movie and kind of start making the small changes, you're just going to be in the same wheelhouse forever. So we have a lot of Chuckies.
So is it woodchuck or is the groundhog is because of Chuck for the ground? How did you get the name?
It was a woodchuck before. A groundhog, a woodchuck's the same thing.
Okay.
So we took Chucky as a name because Groundy didn't sound good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, it's funny because last night we did a show and your hubby Jerry showed up on there, and then after the show I see this little article, and I'm dyslexic and I read really fast, so I was a little disappointed. I saw this article that went like this. I was like, wait, the groundhog, he died. I was like, what? Groundhog Day's gonna be ruined. And then I woke up this morning going, how are you going to celebrate Groundhog's Day? And then I saw this. And then I was like, oh, wait. I was so confused. I was like, 6 weeks of winter. And then I was like, okay, and I know this is going to be a bad joke, but I'm going to say, this little groundhog was smart and said, shit, I ain't waiting for Mr. Philadelphia to tell me that it's another 6 weeks of winter. I'm just getting out of here now because I can't put up with it. So he left the building. And he's gone. That's what happened.
Well, hey, Lynn, they've been doing this since 1887, and I can guarantee you that there's not going to be around that many years. They're only good for about 8 years on a good year. So they got their reserves. I mean, you and I don't have reserves to take our place when we're not here. So, but they've dropped one before, not there, but at another place that does the same thing on Groundhog Day. They dropped one and then he died from the injuries. And so it still evolves. And it brings in a lot of people. I don't know if you were watching it this morning, but there's way too many people that go up there to celebrate for 3 days.
I mean, my goodness, they take that thing and he's wobbling like this. Like, how do you hold that damn thing? I mean, those are slippery suckers.
Very tightly. But, the thing, what would you do if somebody picked you up by the race and stuck your face in front of a camera?
I mean, do you like freaking get to practice? Like, okay, let's redo this. Retake. I mean, like, what the heck?
The first time I ever actually watched it, I thought maybe it was kind of like our Chucky. Maybe it wasn't real. And so you kept doing this movement thing where it looked like he was real. I have never seen him prove that it's a real one yet. Okay. So, but anyway, it's a great thing that people got to find something to celebrate. And if it's a groundhog, have at it. But it didn't start out from the movie. It started out from many, many years ago. And if you get time, we don't have time on here, but if you get time to go back and read the history, it's kind of amazing how it evolved. It actually, when they came into Pennsylvania, prior to that, they were using badgers.
Wow.
And the only reason they started using groundhogs was because they didn't have badgers there, and we couldn't have a good supply of them. So it's like I say, there's actually history. I guess there's history in everything that people do.
What's funny is I never thought of this, but can you just imagine being like, who's going to pick up the badger or the groundhog? Because that they didn't like take this guy, and they don't take him all year and feed him like Thanksgiving and all this stuff. Like, do they cage him in? Like, I'd like to know that stuff. Like, is he like fenced in and this is the one for the 8 years? Like, or they go hunting for him?
Actually, they hibernate. They're going to hibernate for a part of the year. They'll lose about 30% of their body weight over the time they hibernate. Their heartbeat goes, and I think I'm right about this. It was like, it usually runs about 100. It goes down to 5 while they're hibernating. And then as spring comes on, you come out of hibernation. And I mean, they harass this one to wake him up. I'm sure they do. Just he has to have that hibernation time or he's out of sync. He just doesn't get it like everybody. But
That's mean.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to the animal rights thing, but is it cruel? But then again, it gets to be on TV, so it's kind of a trade-off. I mean, if I wanted to get you on TV, you'd let me wake you up and hold your head and hold you up like this and shake you to wake you up. But it's such me either. But it's a tradition and they carry it on. I don't see it changing. But if you noticed, one of the people that just retired from it this morning was like 95 years old. So once you become a member of the group, the little ones that wear the hat.
Yeah.
Once you become a member of the group, you basically have to age out of it or die.
You mean like that hat?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong one, right? There. Oh, wait, I didn't get a picture with the guy, but there's a hat there. I see the hat.
They all wear their hats and they have special names. It's just like us, we celebrate certain things here. I mean, personally, as much as we're into groundhogs in our coaching, would I want to go stand up there in the cold outside for 3 days looking for a groundhog to come out? Nah. But we all have our things that we like to do. And I'm glad that they do it because it keeps people interested. And, when it's snowing up there all year long, what else have you got to do except go watch a gopher come out?
Yeah.
But that's what we do here. I mean, you've got your celebrations there where you live. Everybody I'm looking at that's online with us, we're in different places. They have their celebrations of things. I'm just really glad that they share their celebration basically with the whole world.
Yeah. Well, This is February, and I mean, we've got Valentine's Day coming up, and that's another commercialized, thing that we've made. That's you made a lot of people lots of money. Yeah, and so it's one of those things though. But it is nice for reminders and celebrate. Sometimes we just need those dates to remember and celebrate something to just. Oh, and there's Scott, which thanks for being here, Scott. Which is a great segue on. Let's talk about real quick that paintings on the back. Scott's been doing some great paintings, and we mentioned, and there's Mr. Tim Gillette. Look at all these podcasters showing up. Look at them. Oh, and I love that picture there of Tim.
Yeah.
So those mystic pictures back there. Who was the artist?
I can't remember her name right off. She does, this is basically all she does. She does dragons and things like that. It's for me, it's a break from reality. I sit in this chair quite a bit and doing interviews and all. And the good thing about looking into a camera all day, I like seeing that one little bit of break from reality.
Yeah.
And because I don't get to get away from it often,
Right.
which is probably a good thing. But it's each of us have to have our own thing. You like things, I like my daughter. I think I like dragons, but nothing like my daughter does. In fact, I bought her a dragon egg for Christmas, and she's 50, and she was like a child.
Aww.
It's just so amazing that each of us have our own idiosyncrasies. You have the things that you like.
Yep.
And a lot of times we're different. I mean, my office at IBD, which is my manufacturing plant, I have Charleston, the old Charleston picture behind me. And I like that. But there I've got to be a little more businessy. Is that a good way to put it? But on here, I like being a little bit more laid back.
Absolutely.
It just is a whole different thing. It's kind of like you say, I wear different hats. And when I like, maybe I flip my backgrounds for my hats. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I do all the time. I do for all my shows. And that's why I love green screen, depending where I'm at. And it just gives the different feel and flavor. But I love those pictures. And we did talk about those last night. So
everybody needs to find something like my
absolutely.
pictures that makes them happy.
Absolutely. And we were talking yesterday about going with the flow of things, and as well as talents, hidden talents, and people finding the joy and what brings them joy. And and I know you're a very talented wallpaper person back in your day, but you also enjoyed doing that though too, right? I mean,
I did. I did it for 22 years. And Lynn, I honestly enjoyed every day I got up and did it, which amazes people. They say they can't do it. But only one day in 22 years did I get up and think, I really don't want to do this today.
Really?
But if you like what you got to do, Lynn, it's not really work. But I got to see things that most people don't. Things I don't see now. I'm way past the age limit to be doing that. I look at my desk and all I do is I move a paper from here to paper to there, paper to here. But when I did my wallpapering, I looked at something not attractive. And when I walked out, it was a whole new world. And that was gratification. And so literally for 22 years, I had the job that, to be honest, I can't dream of anything I'd like to do anymore. And I'd love to still be doing it.
Well, it's really cool because what you think about is that you had a vision. You would see the before and after, and that probably gave you such a gratification of, and most jobs probably took you a couple days to finish and stuff, right? Because
I was hanging anywhere from 75 to 100 rolls a day, and a normal room takes about 20. So go ahead.
And what's that? Like, how many rooms would that be?
Well, the one that I'm in right now would take about 12.
12 rolls? So you would do like your room. So you did how many a day?
The most I ever did was 152.
So you could do like your room there, the room I stayed in, the hallway, the bathroom.
I could basically do my whole house in a day.
Holy cow. Wow, you're amazing.
I
That's
It was natural to me, Lynn. Most
wow.
people have to fight it. My grandmother taught me to sew when I was 4. I was
Wow.
sewing on the sewing machine when I was 4. So I learned the idiosyncrasies of cutting and matching and making it
Yeah.
work as a very young child. So the first room I ever did was a bathroom of mine many, many, many years ago. And the first room I ever didn't take me but 2 hours.
Wow. Well, I had a friend after my house fire, I had her do border in my kitchen and in my kids' room and all that stuff. And it took her a week, but I wasn't complaining. But that's why I was like, wow, she did the border. And it was just a border. I wasn't well, and then she did an accent wall. So, but I mean, and I thought she did a pretty good job in that amount of time. But what you did, holy cow, that's like amazing.
I was
So
Again, I enjoyed it.
yeah.
You walk in and do it. But what we see in so many businesses, Lynn, and I'm gonna throw this in, is what we see in so many businesses, people start things and then they move things and then they do other things and then they get distracted by Facebook, they get distracted by this. I walked into a room and I worked till I was done.
Yeah.
And
So
there was no distractions for me. And even I had 9 employees. They knew when I started in there, unless somebody was hurt or they were going to really screw up something, they needed to just leave me alone till they see me finish. It was I like to keep my mind in it because I was not working on the piece I was working on. I was working 6 pieces ahead of me
right.
because I knew where I was going. And
Right.
so, but that's kind of what we got to do in life, Lynn. You can't just work on this little thing that you're working on now. Now, I don't believe in working days ahead, but you've got to be thinking what you're going to do the next moment. You and I have to think what we're going to say next, or either we can really get off like bubbling idiots. So you have to think. And that's
Yeah.
right there. Right there's the main thing. You have to think and you have to care.
Yep. Pausing sometimes is very important. Pause and composure. And, like Napoleon Hill says, you had to think first. 98% is thinking, right? And
Mhm.
2% is the action. So
It
you
is.
definitely did the 98% of the thinking and the 2% action. And that's really where it's at. And
I
once we
was
get that,
lucky enough, though, to be able to think and work. You know what I
right.
mean? Think, work here,
Absolutely.
think here.
Yeah.
And once you can gain that, that's a
Hmm.
super thing. I hope as I age out that my mind still thinks that way because honestly, I'm sitting here having a great time with you, but I'm thinking about the next thing coming up.
Absolutely. And that's what I did with my downtime this past week when I was down. I'm like, that's okay. I can't, whatever. But I was mentally working and doing what I can because I said that last night and I'll say it again. And I'll continue to tell people flow with life. And because you're maybe need to rest your body, doesn't mean you can't be working and sometimes it's a blessing because what you're doing is you're actually realizing you could this isn't important, that's not important, this isn't important, and you realize that you can alleviate so many steps. It gives you more clarity of where to go from point A to B in the quickest direction because now what you're doing is cutting out all the fluff to get all the stuff done and still be productive, to kind of like catching up, for the time that you don't have to get the things done that you need to get done. So
Well,
I
Lynn,
think
I'm
it's
going to tell you real quick my secret, and
yes.
you can use it.
Okay.
Of a morning, I get a cup of coffee. I sit down with my 2 puppies with the lights off. I mean, we've got enough of those little red lights everywhere that there's enough light in the house. But for about 30 minutes, we sit there. I clear my mind because I come out of the shoot thinking. I clear my mind and then I start thinking. And basically, my day's not planned, but it's before me. And I kind of know the direction I'm going that day before I get up instead of it just works for me. Those 30 minutes, my blood pressure goes down if it's up. Um, I'm in a restorative stage, for lack of a better word. And those 30 minutes make the next 12, 14 hours go so much smoother.
Absolutely. I want to thank you as always, Sheryl. It's a blessing, and I thank you so much for always spending this time with me. I love you, and you guys have a great Groundhog's Day, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. So have a great one. Bye.
Bye
Hey,
bye.
bye. Bye. Happy Groundhog's Day.